Namaskar everyone. Welcome to today's Yes Talks. Today we have with us Prabha Krishna. She is a seeker at heart who has dedicated her life to spread awareness about yoga, health, healing, and enrich people's life, whoever's life she touches. And she has 19 plus years of experience in therapeutic yoga and currently serves as a secretary and senior yoga therapist at Yogabharati Bangalore chapter. She has special interest in Itihasas and Puranas. In fact, her interest developed into her becoming a storyteller and narrating in her own vibrant and animated way the stories to children, adults, everyone she meets. And that storytelling also deepened her interest in scripture, especially Mahabharata and Srimad BhAgavatam. And today she'll be talking to us about one of her projects, Calamity, A Doorway to Love Divine, Teachings of Kunti Mata from Srimad BhAgavatam. So I would like to hand over the session to her and looking forward to your session. Welcome once again, everyone.
Namaste, Namaste Aditi, Namaste everyone. So welcome everyone to this wonderful evening. So let me dive straight away to sharing the screen. I hope that, yes. So I'm sure many of you would have joined with a sense of curiosity to understand what is Mata Kunti talking about. What is this calamity, and what is this doorway to love divine? What is this Srimad Bhagavatam teachings all about? So it's an expansive book of so many verses, isn't it? 80,000 verses, and here 12 canto books, and I am going to be covering a very small, tiniest fraction here about Kunti Mata, Mother Kunti. I'm sure many of you would know her, that she is the mother of the Pandavas and the Raja Mata of Hastinapur. And here the scenario is very beautiful here, so that we all understand when I'm diving into the slides. So and of course Krishna Arpanamastu. So here what I am going to be talking is all about the teachings of Kunti and Kunti's absolute devotion to Bhagavan Shri Krishna. And Kunti's actually Bhagavan Krishna was her actually a nephew. But it's that was not the way she was looking at Krishna. That was not absolutely the way he said, hey, my dear Krishna. No, for her, she understood that is there were very few people in the Mahabharata times who knew who is Krishna, and one of them was Mata Kunti here, and she knew that who is Krishna, the absolute supreme personality there, and she knew that Bhagwan is come with an avatar with a purpose there, and with that connection with absolute, and the connection was so much like a Vatsalya connection. So there is so many different types of connection we all develop with Bhagwan, our own Ishta Devata, and her devotion or her connection with Krishna was with Vatsalya. It's like a mother who looks at a child. So we see so many different types of connections with different devotees, and Kunti was also considered as a Bhagavata. That is, a Bhagavata is the ultimate Bhakta. So that's what I'm going to be here diving into the slides is some basic. I'm not going to be going like verse by verse. It's like 26 verse. So I wanted to make it as like enriching as possible for all of us, so that we are not caught with the grammar and the verses. We are caught with the actual meaning of these verses and actually the emotions which is conveyed by Kunti Mata. So the calamity, a doorway to love divine. So we know how the scenario is. The war is over, the war which happened between the Kauravas and the Pandavas, and we know what was the purpose of Bhagwan Krishna. The war is completely over. The Pandavas win. There is Yudhishthira has been crowned as a king of Hastinapura, and everyone are settled well. And Sri Krishna is also with the Pandavas, making sure that they are settled well. And he is finally deciding that it is time for him to leave Hastinapura and move on to Dwaraka. So the scenario is he's telling bye to everyone and is finally coming to Kunti. And when Kunti is absolutely so emotional, because she knows that Krishna is leaving, but she knows that actually Krishna is not leaving, but right in physical presence Krishna is leaving. And all these verses are conveyed by her with ultimate devotion, that, oh Krishna, you are leaving us. What will I do? You have done so many things for me, so many things for us, and you are leaving. So that is how it starts. So moving on, so this is coming in Canto 1, chapter 8, 26 verses, if anyone is wanting to read further into that. And this is all about the path of bhakti, the bhakti yoga here, right? And so it is absolutely the bhakta is all having the devouring devotion. What is a devouring devotion? It's not like an asura which devours a human there, but it is like the bhakta is absolutely all in all, the whole being is absolutely merged with Bhagavan. So that is how Kunti felt, was feeling towards Lord Krishna. And it was for them, the purpose in life is only to remember Krishna, to remember Bhagavan. And that is it. That was the way Kunti also felt. That is, oh Bhagavan, I always wanted to remain in oneness with you. I always wanted to remember you. So now we might wonder how she prayed. So her very beautiful, in one of the verses she says, oh Bhagavan, let me have more and more calamities in life so that I can remember you always. See, what a prayer of a bhakta, asking that let me have sufferings in life. It is not like we are sitting and bargaining to Bhagavan, say that, oh Bhagavan, give me that house because this house is not so great. Give me an I-10 because my nano car is not so great. No, here she is asking, let me have more and more sufferings, more and more calamities, because only in calamities, oh Bhagavan, that I am going to remember you constantly. I understand that I am having that viveka, I am having that understanding. So please let me have more and more calamities. And we may wonder, what calamities did Kunti have? Oh, we all know the stories, what all this Kunti Mata have gone through from the day she has been born, when the day she was being shifted to another place because she was being adopted by her uncle. And then from there she had a child, that is the Karna, at a very at a maiden age, where she was not married. She had to let go of that child, then got married, then had to go to the forest, and then her husband passed away because of a curse. And then in the middle of the forest with 5 kids coming back to Hastinapura, her life has been a whirlpool. So many. And then growing up in the midst of Kauravas, who always were looking at her with the kids with an enmity there. And then we know the wax palace burning, and then running in the forest, escaping and trying to kind of be away from the Kauravas. So many different incidents there. And she has faced enough of calamities. And after all the calamities, the war has happened. After the war has happened, so many have passed away, so many have died. And this incident, this particular dialogue she's telling, or verse she's telling, after all these calamities. So I want you to understand what is the state of mind and the ultimate the way, a surrender of Kunti to Bhagavan. So she starts with very beautiful verses there, and some of the verses is Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakумарaya Govindaya Namo Namaha Namah Pankajanabhaya Namah Pankajamaline Namah Pankajanetraya Namaste Pankajangraye. It is all, see, so many, all the first 2 to 3 verses which say it's all about, oh Bhagwan, you are like this, you are a person who has been walking around with Yashoda Maya. You are a person who has been born, Devaki and Vasudeva are been so fortunate to have you as their child. Oh Bhagwan, you have you have lotus feet. It's like beautiful descriptions. It's like she starts the what do you say, the connection with Bhagwan, praising him and extolling his glories, that you are the Ishvara, you are the You are the Paramatma. You are a person who is there within and without everyone. There is like you are present in every part of the universe. That is, whether it is in me, whether it is in all the living beings, you are present. But still, you are not only present there, but you are also present. And the back, it's like the sun, which we feel the rays, but sun is also present. So beautifully she talks and extols the glory of Sri Bhagwan there. And next is where she starts beautifully saying that how grateful am I, like, so because you have saved me from so many incidents and calamities and in my life. I'm absolutely ultimately grateful. So what are these Kunti Stuti saying? That she gives us ideas, or she gives us tips and suggestion to develop devotion. Sometimes we do not understand, how do I develop devotion? How do I develop that connection to Bhagavan? So we are all wondering, many of us might be wondering. And here these verses would actually help us that. The first, the thing is, how do I develop gratefulness? So that is very, very important, right? Whether we are sitting here and I'm speaking here, I'm grateful that I'm able to speak, I'm able to convey what I'm thinking in words and actions, right? And I'm having internet connection, so internet Bhagwan ki jai. So many things, isn't it? So everything we are doing, it's absolutely, it is not just simply coming. Here she is also realizing in her verses, she beautifully talks about that tvaya Tvaya eva natena muhur vipat ganat. That is, you have saved me, released us from a series of constant ages constantly. So, and my existence, our existence is due to your grace only. So, most of the time we would be observing in our life also, right? That is where we might be sunk in gloom, where we might be absolutely in a state of helplessness. And suddenly, and you absolutely surrender at that time, and you would be amazed that there is someone from somewhere would have reached a hand, or some WhatsApp message suddenly would have uplifted you, or someone would have spoken some words in a satsanga, and suddenly it gives you answers that, you know what, this is what maybe I need to do. And somebody lending a hand, it could be somebody giving comfort, and it could just come from anywhere, absolutely anywhere. And who is this anywhere? Who is this person there? She's saying that from everywhere, every particular danger, she relates every danger she has gone through in many verses there, that how you did this. And so what are we trying to understand here? What we trying to understand, that how are we, myself? So it's whenever we talk about Kunti Mata saying, we have to start looking at ourselves, right? So that is where it is going beyond knowledge. We are not sitting here and saying that I am gaining knowledge. We have to start doing that application in our life, so that it helps us connect that how grateful could I be to Bhagavan's Leela. That is, it's all Leela. Leela is all the beautiful, so it's not like, even I think Mother Sri Aurobindo says that all the divine play, right? The divine play of Bhagavan, right? So this is place we kind of need to understand the gratefulness of Bhagavan in every walk of life, right? And this is where she again asks us, so do you think he's partial? So because many times many people start saying that no, see, he's always Bhagavan, no, he's partial. It's like a teacher who's there with a midst of students, and the teacher asks someone, if I ask Aditi what is this answer, somebody will think that no, Prabha always asks Aditi because Aditi is her favorite student. So but the teacher is not thinking like that. The teacher is just asking. It is, the teacher is actually unbiased. It is that the way the teacher is asked, but the other people ka emotions and the other people ka, they are caught in the web that, oh, it's she's been asked, so I am not being favored by Prabha here. So again she Kunti talks to Bhagwan. He say, you know what, people think that you are partial. Oh Bhagavan, no one can understand your transcendental pastimes. He comes as a human. He is born as different avatars, and Krishna is one beautiful avatar where he comes and he shows himself also that he is Bhagavan. Many other avatars is like he comes, slays Hiranyakashipa, he comes, slays Hiranyaksha, lifts the divine Mother Earth through Varaha avatar. So many different Varaha avatars are there. But this is the one of the most beautiful avatar of Bhagavan, where he appears as a human, plays around, does this leela so beautifully, and interacts with so many interesting type of personalities there, and many people he inspires them. And then she says that you show no specific object of favor, but you know what, people think that you are partial. Oh Bhagwan, people think that you are partial. So this is where I would say one thing here. So there was one man, because so that it helps to relate for all of us. There was one man whose name is Ramu, who was working in a temple for about since he was 9 years old. His job was only to ring the bell. So that was his job, and he was working in this temple for a very very long time. You could say that till his 40 years of age, from 9 years to 40, he was only doing that. The temple authorities were giving him a salary and prasada, so the needs his needs were taken care, like that. Now this temples got very famous, and all the temple authorities decided that we need a person who rings the bell to be literate, to know English, so that the foreigners or whoever comes there could to talk in English. And they decided to make sure that he leaves the job. They told him, you maybe you can leave the job. And he was so upset, because for him, when he was ringing the bell, he felt so connected to the God there, so connected. He was always in the bhakti mode there. And suddenly one day when he was asked to leave, he was actually very angry with Bhagwan. He went to Bhagwan, the Antarpura, and then he went and said that, oh Bhagwan, I did so much of service all these years. What you have done to me? Is this how you treat your devotees? See, I did this, I did that, I did this, and what have you done to me? I was so upset. Now what will I do? I don't know what to do. And then he came out. He was just walking absolutely dejected, and suddenly he saw people were looking for pan. He was observing that some people, they had to travel all the way to a pan shop very very far away. And suddenly an idea struck to him. Why don't I put a pan shop right in front of the temple? Okay, that idea struck to him. We have to remember these things. An idea struck. So who gave that idea? That we have to think, right? So an idea struck, and then he started the pawn shop, and that pawn shop absolutely flourished to an extent that he got so rich. Then he had put a account in the bank, and the bank manager called him one day, and then, I think you need to put some FD. Looks like you're very very lucky. My God, see how much of amount it is there. Then he smiled, that Ramu smiled. You know what? It is all the will of Bhagavan only. Otherwise, I would have been still earning 100 rupees only. So, so the way we can turn our perspectives, right? That is from a place where we have had some suffering, or some particular incident has happened in our life, and suddenly how our mode of thought goes, like, you know what, Bhagavan, I did this much, I did that, I did puja to you every day, and still you did this to me. So this is where Kunti beautifully talks about, and there are wonderful commentaries about that, how the moment a calamity comes, a moment a suffering comes, or moment we are in pain or suffering, we start thinking that, hey Bhagavan, you are very partial. That is not at all fair. So you see, she did not do any puja. See, she is living in riches and living so happily, and here I am doing puja every day, I am doing this every day, and still you're so partial. So she was saying that, oh, she knew that we are caught in this web. We tend to keep being caught in this web, and that is where she very beautifully says, Samam charantam sarvatra. Oh Bhagavan, whatever you do, you are impartial and merciful to everyone. We need not think that he only favors this person, we only favors this person, right? It's an example given when in Ramayana, Vibhishana leaves Ravana, because he consults Ravana and leaves Ravana. And then he comes back. He's a Rama Bhakta, and he's so eager to meet Rama. But there is a sense of apprehension that I am a Rakshasa. Will Rama accept me? Right? So will he show mercy on me? Because maybe he might want to cut my head too. And with that apprehension, but also thinking that, you know what, I'm going to just surrender. Let Rama take care whatever he wants to do. And with that sense of surrender, he comes to Bhagwan. Ramachandra, and he says that, oh Ramachandra, I am a Rakshasa, but I'm just surrendering onto you. And Rama beautifully says that everyone around him starts counseling Rama. That sometimes they forget that he is Bhagavan Rama. They think that he is Rama there. That is a Rama who has lost his wife. who is a grieving person. Sometimes we get deluded thinking that he is just a Rama, but only Vibhishana, Hanuman knew he is Bhagavan Ramachandra. So, and when Vibhishana comes and falls at his feet or surrenders to himself, Ramachandra says that, you know what, anyone, whether you could have done many adharmic things, but when the moment you realize and then you surrender on to me, I'm absolutely merciful and absolutely forgive you, and I will enfold you into me. So that is how that Kunti realizes it and says that you know what, we start doubting Bhagwan's intentions. The moment a calamity comes, we start doubting, you know, why this happened, what is this is what happening. So let us start removing those doubts and absolutely surrender to the will of God. It is like there was a farmer who was having one by one incidents in his life. He lost a horse. Then suddenly people started coming and telling. People also add fuel to the fire. They said, "Arey, you lost a horse also now. How will you live only?" Then he very calmly said, "It is the will of God." And then again, after some time, something else happened. His crop got destroyed. They said, "How will you survive now? No, you don't have crop also." Again, he said, "It's a will of Bhagavan." Everything he said, it's a will of Bhagavan. And one day, what happened? There was beautiful crops happening, and then he had good harvest and everything, and he got a good amount of money. And they say, "How are you happy?" Then again, he said, "Is a will of God." So whether you are in pain or in pleasure, absolutely, it is a will of Bhagavan. So let us not doubt Bhagavan's intentions. And that is how very beautifully she says, can we see the hand of God in everyone, everything around us, so that we feel liberated, we are not caught there. So, but again, these are very powerful verses there, and which we again read and read and read many beautiful books written by fantastic authors, right? That how we are so caught, how we are so caught. We all must be, whoever have joined here would understand that where all we are caught. We are caught in the desires, we are caught in the expectations. There is always that I want more. There is a desire, there is it is like that thread of the desire is pulling you, saying that, you know what, you need to do this so that you get recognition, you need to do this so that you get this. So there is so much of expectations we have of ourselves and also all around people. So most of the time what happens, we get caught, we get entangled in the web. And that's where again she says, bhave asmin klishyamanam avidya kama karma bihi. That is avidya kama karma bihi. That is most of the time we get entangled with these desires and expectations. Why? It is because of ignorance. So ignorance, Raghuramji beautifully says, when you say ignorance, that it's not ignore. So you don't think it is ignore. Ignorance is absolutely that you are unaware. That is, your awareness is not fine-tuned to an extent that you are unaware that you are caught here. That is the way it goes. So much that we get pulled in by the whirlpool, pulled in by the desires. And she says that very beautifully, most of the time we start looking for goals so that I enjoy the fruit of my actions. And most of the time I'm caught at the doer action, that I did it, mamatva. So there is so much of I prepared this slide, I did this for you. Why don't you recognize me? Why don't you respect me? There is so much of I in all our actions and thoughts. And this is where she says so much of aham we have in all our actions, that, oh Bhagavan, again we are unable to see you. We are unable to see your presence only because we are caught. We are already covered with so many curtains. So how are we going to see the person, right? If you are looking at a drama and it is filled with drama is happening inside. The actor Krishna is sitting inside and doing the acting, but the curtain is there. Can you sit and watch the drama? No, right? The curtain has to be open to see, right? But the problem is we keep having this curtain, and this curtain is all about these desires and expectations. So she says, oh Bhagavan, conditioned souls are indeed suffering from material pangs. Oh Bhagavan, yet you see that we are all bound, but yet you are merciful. It's like a mother and child, the child comes and tells, Ma, I did this, Ma, today I jumped from here to there, today I got second prize, today I did. And yet how is the mother's the bhava there, the emotion there? The mother just smiles. Oh, is it? Oh, you did that? Oh, yeah. So that is how the relationship for Bhagavan is with us. That is, he's seeing that Papa, look, Prabha is caught in these desires and expectations. I am sure there will be a day when she opens that curtain. And that is how he is there, ever merciful. So she has that connection, saying that, oh Bhagavan, I know that we are all entangled here, but I know you are there. You are there for us. You are there to open that web for us. So, na lakshya se moda drisha nato natyadara yata. So, that is very, very beautiful. That is here, we have to remember this is like the translation is, you are invisible to the foolish observer. Moda, foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized. So here we'll think, for example, the Mahabharata serial. If you think about it, Mahabharata serial, Nitish Bharadwaj was the Krishna. So the people, we are all, I think for me, that Mahabharata, I'm sure after that so many Mahabharata has been done, but for me that Mahabharata always touches my heart because the dialogues are so beautiful. And when you see Nitish Bharadwaj as an actor, we see Nitish Bharadwaj as Krishna. Do you think this is that time when we see him, we think that no, he is a Mumbai guy, he is Nitish Bharadwaj? No. Here, when he smiles, when he speaks, everywhere we see him as Krishna. So that is the way we are so beautifully caught in that character. What is the of that actor who's playing? But who is actually that character? So most of the time we are caught in that character there, but finally we are unable to realize who is that person within that. So, oh Bhagavan, we seem to be modas, we seem to be absolutely foolish there, or we are fools. So it's very, very beautifully. It's like Shankaracharya talks in Bhaja Govindam also, right? That seek Bhaja, seek Govinda, we a moda, like a foolish, a fools. Where are you attentions are? So here also she beautifully talks about, we seem to be so caught with the actor. Most of the people say, no, hey, what yeah, Krishna played with the gopis, Krishna did this, he lied, he ate butter, he stole it. So we are caught in that actor which is playing the role. But who is Krishna? Who is that Krishna there is where we have to realize. So that's Kunti is not looking at that Krishna who is a cowherd, who was going around the cows, who stole the clothes of the gopikas, who did this. Everything is already a beautiful leela of Bhagavan there. So here we are not, the mudha, that is the foolish observer, looks at it in a different perspective of Krishna there. They start thinking, what is that Krishna you're talking about, Prabha? He was a thief. It's like Shishupala telling about Krishna, how Shishupala comes and talks about Krishna, right? But still Krishna smiles. So that is how we are caught with the actor here and not the actual person. So oh Krishna, so what? We seem to be so entangled in our own web that we are not able to see you properly. We are not able to see who are you actually. We are entangled by our own web here of so many desires and expectations that everything is actually, we feel that we are caught. We are caught in an imaginary cage. See here, if you see this bird here, the bird is actually not put in a cage, right? It's a very powerful picture actually. Even if you do this experiments in dogs also, or even elephants also, when they are trained, they actually, a point happens that they don't tie the chains to the rod, but they are trained in such a way that it is made to believe that the elephant feels that it is tied, so it just remains there in the same place, right? So sometimes we also feel we are bound because of so many sufferings in our life. We feel so bound, we are so constricted, that is, our whole being becomes very constricted, and that is how we birds are. Oh Bhagavan, I know why. You know why I am feeling constricted? Because I have these attachments. Sneha pasham imam chindi, that is, I'm so this attachments towards many things, towards my people, towards my kin, towards my likes and dislikes, ragadvesha, so many things I'm attached. Because of that attachment, I feel I'm bound, right? So but the moment I know that this is only an attachment, oh Bhagwan, why don't you sever my tie, that tie of affection, that attachment completely. She's not saying that let them not be my children, no, no, no. That attachment part where I get carried away, just give me that freedom. So most of the time, right, just to give a small example, when the child is about to leave, right, leave for higher studies or leave after marriage or whatever it is, sometimes most of the time many parents tend to get into a depression mode. So thinking that because they had that child, that affection there, so much of attachment, and suddenly the child is leaving, or the child has left, there is depression happening. But why is that depression happening? It is because they might be feeling proud that the child has left, but there is that attachment which is kind of making them feel so miserable. And if you see a bird, how very beautifully they do their they do their responsibility of taking care of the children, feeding them the right amount of nourishment, and when the time comes that the fledgling has to open its wings and fly, they actually sometimes even push, right? So it is absolutely a sense of detachment there. It is not that they don't love the children, it is that a sense of detachment which absolutely frees them. And most of the time that attachment, that severe likes and severe dislike is where it pulls us, and we are not unable to surrender. Very today I was reading a book by mother where she very beautifully says that most of the time we surrender half-heartedly. Because we are halfway, we are entangled with our desires. We say that no, I will surrender to you Bhagavan, but no, if you could really give this thing for me, it will be nice. But no, even then I'm surrendering to you. So what is this half-hearted surrender? So the half-hearted surrender where you are not absolutely surrendering to your whole being, saying that, oh Bhagwan, whatever happens, I accept it as your prasada. That's it, it's your will. No. So this is where she realizes and says, oh Bhagwan, sever my tie of affection and attachment. That's it. And that is where she says that a beautiful set of verses about humility. Here, who can see me, who can actually see you, who Bhagwan. So all this while she was talking about who are all entangled, who are all that we are entangled in the web, so we are unable to see. But who can see? A person who is absolutely humble. Tvam akinchana gocharam, that is a person who just thinks that if I am talking here, it is not me who's talking, it is the divine who's passing through me. My thoughts, my actions, my speech is all the divine speaking. So if there is a sense of humility and there is a sense of no possessiveness of anything, that person sees Bhagavan. Oh Krishna, Tvam Akinchana Gocharam. There is Akinchana Gocharam are those people who think they don't possess anything. They never say I have got a iMac. Oh, do you have HP? Oh, okay. Oh, I have got this. Do you have that? Oh, is that so? Maybe you're not earning much. So there is so much of comparisons. There is so much of what do I possess, right? I possess excellent intelligence. My maid is not intelligent. She's very dumb, right? See how the way we start being ungrateful to everything which has been bestowed upon us. And she says that can we all remain humble, oh Bhagavan? Can we have that beauty of remaining humble always? Most of the time what happens is because of my qualifications, my beauty or opulence or my parentage, I am born in Thakur family. I am born in a Brahman family. There is some kind of a that there is a pride in my parentage. There is a pride in my birth. Oh Bhagwan, you know what? We get so caught in these things, in my beauty, in my intelligence, in my qualifications. So then what happens? We don't see you. Oh Bhagwan, can we remain humble? These are very very beautiful here. This again one story here. Okay, I have time. We have story there. Here is there was one man who was walking in the dark. It's a very short story so that it helps us understand the art of letting go. There was one man who was walking in the dark, and suddenly he loses his grip and he falls, and he's falling, and suddenly he grasps a branch, and he's holding on to that branch very tightly. And he knew that if, because he can't see anything, he knew that if I leave that branch, I'm just going to die. So that was a sense of absolute, helplessness he was. With that helplessness, he first tried intellectually what all maybe I could put my leg here. See, first, whenever we are in trouble, first we try intellectually, right? What can I do? What are the strategies I can adopt without, because of my intelligence and because of my ability? We start, and the moment comes we are unable to do any of these things, and that is the time we come to a absolute helpless state. And he also tried a lot, and he came to an absolute helpless state, and he started praying intently to Bhagwan. Oh God, please help me. You are there, that's all. And suddenly a voice came. Okay, a voice came. Leave your hand. Okay, a voice came. And he was like, what is this? How can I leave my hand? So intellect started saying, if I leave my hand, I might go down, I might break my arm. Then what will happen? Then who will take care of my family? If I leave my hand, what if I get into a coma? See, these are the different thought mode he went on playing in his mind. And once more the sound came, leave hand. But still, he was unable to leave the hand. He was holding on to it very, very strongly. And it was extreme cold weather. He was frozen and he died. And then he went to, it's the story, okay? He went and met God. He was very angry with God. He said, I prayed to you, still you did not come. Okay, so you put that situation there, come here. Next day morning, people are all coming. Okay, and they were shocked. You know why? That branch was only 2 feet away from the ground. That's it. 2 feet. If he had left his hand, he would have just fallen with the tuck. That's it. That's it. That's it. Just little bit, 2 feet away from the ground. And they were all saying that, if he had left his hand, it would have been so nice. No, why he couldn't leave the hand? So this was a situation. Here he went and complained to Bhagavan like crazily. Why you are impartial? You never see. You told that you will save all your people who were helpless. Then Bhagavan said, I told you to leave hand. You only did not leave hand. Why were you holding on to that? You could have just thought that it is Bhagavan who is saying, you prayed to me, I gave you, I told also, leave. And you still did not leave. So most of the time what happens is we are so caught up in our own web that if some inner kind of a feeling comes to do something, we are unable to hear, or we block that with all our intellectual understanding. So much of intellect sometimes blocks us from progress. And this is where she says, you know what? Can we remain humble? Oh Bhagavan, akinchana gochara. That is, whoever can see you are akinchana gochara people. That is, people who does not feel that they possess anything. Their only wealth is Bhagavan. That's it. So that is the way she says that, oh Bhagavan, Vipada Santuta Shashvat Tatra Tatra Jagadguru. That is, oh, can I get more and more calamities? Because you know what? I tend to, the moment we are in very happy state of mind, we tend to forget. It again, a very Ramakrishna Paramahamsa very beautifully tells here, it's like a child, and it's like a child who sits in the hall and playing with the toys, and the mother is in the kitchen. Okay, so the child is playing. As long as the child is playing, the child does not call out for mother, right? But the moment sometimes happens that suddenly the toy breaks. And then suddenly the child cries out for amma, mama, 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 amma, and then the mother comes. So what happened here? That when the child is in the happy state of mind, the child has forgotten the mother. But the child was in, suddenly the child is not knowing what to do. The child is remembering Bhagavan. So are we, where we tend to forget because we are so well settled in life. We have intelligence, we have our pride and so many things. But at that time, we do not remember Bhagavan's the grace on us, absolute bestowing grace on us. So again, she very beautifully says, it's like a sun's rays. sun is constantly beautifully showering the rays to everyone. But if I chose to sit in the shade and then I say I am not receiving sun's rays, I am not receiving sun's rays, then where? Sun is falling, we are only not stepping out to receive it, we are putting an umbrella and sitting there in the outside, right? So that is where she very beautifully says that it is basically us. You are there always. We are entangled. We seem to have forgotten you. We seem to have been caught in the pride. We seem to have been ungrateful. We have lost that beauty of humility itself. We don't know what is meant by humility, because we start thinking, universe is like this only. I am like this only. I am so great. So there is so much of everything is taken for granted. Oh Bhagwan, so I think, you know what, you give me more and more calamities so that I could see you again and again and again. And this is where she ends very beautifully, that oh Bhagwan, you know what, how my devotion should be. It should be like the river which flows. It's like the Ganga. When it starts from, and then it just beautifully flows, right? With Ganga is flowing, and suddenly in Rishikesh the Ganga decides, let me stop here, bank here for some time, chill for some time, and then go, and then maybe take a break in Badrinath, chill for some time and go. No, the Ganga beautifully just flows, and giving her essence everywhere as she flows. Oh Bhagavan, you know what, as the Ganges forever flows to the sea without hindrance, without any distractions, let my attraction, or let me constantly be drawn onto you without being diverted to anyone else. So that is basically, it's like let my devotion be absolutely so one pointed. So that is, I am not about thinking about anything else. It is like a flow. It is like a flow where it just cleanses my mind completely of everything. I am rejecting what all which is not divine for me, or which is not going to be uplifting for me. I am going to be ensuring that I am keeping on flowing. I am having a devotion which is ahaituki, that is absolutely one pointed. It starts, so it is like she says, there are beautiful commentaries by different people, and there is one Swami Aparajitananda, he beautifully says, a devotion starts with a trickle and it just flows, right? So it's very so beautiful, right? So that is how we are able to let go. We talk about vairagya, detachment. What are we detaching? So here is a bhakta, here is Kunti Mata, who we think that she is after all a Rajamata. What is she? No, see the devotion here which has enabled her to have this jnana, this understanding, this knowledge, where she's saying that we will be able to let go of the inner battles and absolutely open our hearts, so that the love floods the entire being. So it just absolutely, it is like a shower. It starts with the shower and absolutely floods. My entire being is flooded. Then my surrender is complete. It's completely from fully within. I'm surrendering, right? It is not half surrender, half this. It is full beautiful surrender. When I surrender in that way, I come to a feeling that it frees me. It just actually frees me. So that is the way it beautifully it ends here. Wow. So the book, my understanding is all from wonderful teachers and gurus there. This is of course from Srimad BhAgavatam, from Swami Tejomayananda and Srila Prabhupada, and also Kamala Subramaniam's book on Srimad Bhagavatam is outstanding, and also the talks by Radhanath Swami, Aparajitananda ji, and all that. So this is where I have and of course Raghuramji's blessings are always there, my mentor and guru, where I'm able to sit here and speak to you with the divine grace. Thank you so much. I hope the session was easy to take in. The essence was taken in that way. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing. Maybe we can open if people have any questions or any sharing from the audience.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. You can go ahead.
The speaker today was so having command on so beautiful languages and the method of expression, and through easy telling of stories, conveying high philosophy. I should congratulate her very much for the way she conducted the session.
Thank
The observation is that in Kunti's time, the Mahabharata stories, that was one type of feeling, that calamity will become a prodding for remembering the Lord. Now, the we people, the devotees of the mother, are being repeatedly told that you don't have to look for a calamity to remember the divine. So, at one time, in one's perspective, calamity could have been a prodding to remember the divine, but we are called upon to remember the divine in all phases of life, in all points of life in our life, in pleasure and pain and whatever. Be immersed with the divine and be immersed in our surrender. So, I perceive Prabha Madam as a very good instrument, because she has prepared her heart and mind very well. And if she could be, get into the service of the mother by coming to the mother's teachings and propagating that one in the same language and same enthusiasm, that would be a great service to the future mankind, because the teachings of mother and Sri Aurobindo are futuristic, not the past history. And the she could serve the future development, future evolution of mankind in a much better way. So I invite her to think about this proposal. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Rishikesh ji. Thank you so much. I am actually I have several books of mother and absolutely adore mother's books. To say in this itself, there is a book which I have in hand called Surrender and Grace by Mother, where
Wonderful.
very apt thing what I spoke today here. I just read one sentence of that is what one should have at first is a constant idea what the divine wills is always for the best even when the mind does not see how it is so, to accept with resignation what one cannot yet accept with gladness, and so to arrive at a calm equality which is not shaken, even when on the surface there may be passing moments of a momentary reaction to outward happenings. If that is once firmly founded, the rest can come. There are so many beautiful things here, but I just thought I could share this because if I am sharing this today, it is by the blessings of Mother and blessings of Krishna himself. So, where this book and many other books of Mother, I'm sure one day I would really like to give a session about Mother's teachings also. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Um, Let me intervene as a devotee of Sri Aurobindo and the mother, and speaking from Sri Aurobindo Ashram Delhi branch. Uh, Actually, I don't see no contradiction between what Prabhaji has spoken and the teachings of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. Uh, the fact that calamities, vipadas, as Kunti Mata said, can serve as a doorway to the divine, can take us closer to the divine, and is asking for it, is something which is a universal fact, and Sri Aurobindo and the mother have also acknowledged it. Uh, Sri Aurobindo, in one of his thoughts and aphorisms, is grateful for all the blows with which he has been struck. He says, because they have taken me closer to you. Uh, in some places, that be grateful for all the ordeals because they are the shortest way to the divine. In Savitri, again, he has talked about sorrow being and pain being uh, something which chisels an unwilling mold so that it turns to the divine. But all the same, I think what Rishikesh was talking about was another line in Savitri where Sri Aurobindo says half humorously, and it's a very interesting and humorous sentence. Let me quote him. What he says is that while sorrow can take us towards the divine, do not invite it. Too soon will grief and anguish find you, which means enough of it will come uninvited You don't have to invite it. That's all he says. But that doesn't mean that they have not acknowledged it. I mean, this is something which comes from the Gita, 4 types of devotees. The first one mentioned is Artha, the one who is miserable. So misery takes us to the divine is a universally recognized fact, and one can understand because we are so caught up in our own confidence that I can do everything and I know everything. I have so many contacts, I have so many friends, I have this type of resources, that it's when there is a calamity where we find ourselves totally helpless and we find that all our resources of which we were proud have proved to be completely meaningless, that we turn to the divine. So it has that power, but all the same, we don't have to invite it. Enough of it, as Sri Aurobindo says, will come on its own. The grief and anguish will find you out. When it again, Rishikesh, he talked about Sri Aurobindo and their mother being futuristic and not traditional, or not believing in ancient teachings. That again is completely far from the truth. Sri Aurobindo is rooted strictly in tradition, although he's not restricted by tradition. And in fact, Sri Aurobindo has again a very beautiful saying on this: the past is our foundation, the present is our material, and the future is the summit. So present is the material on which we can work so that we can reach the future, which is visualized as much better than the present. But then the past is our foundation. Without that foundation, we will not be able to put in the work today, which will take us to the summit. So we have to work on the present material using the past foundations.
Right. I think with that, we can close today's session with a lot of gratitude. And also, what stuck with me is don't restrict yourself to half hearted surrender, surrender fully. So, I think that is what the take home message is for me. And I'm just still stuck there. So, that's one of my reflection from the talk. So, thank you once again, Prabha. And we'll just end with a few moments of silence. Thank you, everyone.